All right, back here on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. We both made the executive decision to go with the shades. Shades on. We got Jeramiah Dickey, Boise State Athletic Director, kind enough to join us for a few minutes as we roll along here from Honolulu, Hawaii. We're at the Clarence TC Chain Complex. And Jeremiah, appreciate it. It's a little warm, kind of a unique venue. Going to be a fun night for football tonight.
It will. And honestly, black was a bad choice. I need some sunscreen right now. And good to see your family earlier. I'm glad they made the trip, man.
Yeah, no, it was worked out nice. No school Thursday and Friday, and had the free flight credits. So said, why not? This would be they weren't clamoring to go to Laramie in a couple weeks. They wanted to come to this one, so we made it happen. But no, it's been good. They're going to be at the game tonight. Looking forward to that. And this trip, I mean, we're going to talk to Keaton Davis in a little bit and just kind of everything that went into it. But from an athletic director standpoint, having to get the nicer, bigger, more expensive plane, coming out here a day early. Like, what's this like from the department standpoint to take the show on the road to Hawaii for a game here?
This is obviously a difficult trip. I mean, when you think about this 1-0 mentality, and this is a work trip, and the amount of time, energy, and effort that goes in, and I can't say enough about Keaton and Charlotte and Lou and Bailey and all of our support staff. It's a lot of work. Dale and the equipment staff.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not obviously shipping your stuff. You have to put it on the plane, and so it creates some opportunities for our staff to come together. But it takes a team, and everyone's doing it. And I think our guys had a good, time here and in a few days to, not necessarily decompress, but they got to see their family and friends and people who came in for the game. And I know our donors have had a good time. So
that's most important for us.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say this about Spencer. I mean, not to speak, negatively, whatever on previous coaches, but it seems like one thing as a strength of his is that giving the players the family time, mixing the work with the experience of a college football athlete. And I've said this a couple of times. There was a previous coach here. I asked him one time about when they came to Hawaii about giving the guys a chance, to go to the beach. And he said they'll see the beach twice, when we land and when we take off.
Right.
And he said it kind of tongue in cheek, but not really. I mean, it was kind of like we're here for a business trip. And I know there's a fine line. This isn't a bowl game, and they weren't out there all day surfing. But I mean, to get an hour last night, an hour the night before, 2 hours, whatever it was, to see their family, to take a walk. You guys are staying on the beach, so I don't know if the guys had a chance to take a dip in the pool or just to have a little bit of free time. What have you noticed from that aspect of Spencer? I've heard that when he took over last year, one of the first things he did was give an extra hour the night before games for parents. Like, some of that small stuff that it seems like really adds up is a strength of Spencer's.
100%. Faith, family, football. Family's a priority. And, you got to see the guys. And honestly, you can't probably do what Spencer does if we just didn't have incredible kids. They are unbelievable off the field. We don't worry about them. I don't know if I've ever had the least problems I've had is with our football program. And that's a testament to the kids. That's a testament to the coaches and the leadership. When you have guys like Ashton and Ahmed and they're not missing curfew. They're getting in and they understand what's at stake and they're here to play football. And so it means a lot to them. I know their families and be able to spend an extra hour with them. And I know it means a lot to Spencer. We're here to pour into these kids and this is our family and we're responsible for them while they're away from home. And so I'm really grateful for how he's operating.
Speaking of Spencer, we had Rachel Danielson on, at the beginning of the show, and obviously you're close with her and Spencer and the whole family, but just she was talking about the last year from her perspective and just everything that's gone down, and then him getting interim, then getting head coach, and now what he's done with it. And she said she's, obviously, biased, but not surprised one bit with what he's been able to do with this team since he took over. When you think back to the last year and how it's all played out and where you guys are now ranked number 17 and you got a Heisman candidate and you're pushing towards hopefully a bid in the CFP, I think I've asked you versions of this before, but it really couldn't have played out much better to this point than it has.
Could not have written it any better. You said it. And, obviously when you're making decisions like I did last year and when you look at the future of our program, that was a priority. But it started with him as a person and his integrity and character and all of those qualities. Ultimately winning is hard. And do you want to win every game and do you want to be in a position that we're ultimately in? Absolutely. But it's that what's next mentality, and to see him go to work and what he did at the end of last season and what he did in the off season and how they're recruiting, you plan the work the plan. And that's what they've done. And our team has stepped up and they're embracing those challenges. Everyone is bringing their best. This is everyone's Super Bowl when they play us. And we know we have a bullseye on our back and to be able to embrace that and really show up week in and week out. I couldn't have asked for anything more, BJ. Spencer's an unbelievable person and the people that he has around him, his staff and It's been amazing, quite honestly, and I don't know what else I could ask for.
I know at the time it seemed like obviously a big win. I don't think anyone realized how big of a win when when Spencer got Ashton Jeanty to decide to stay, and to see from that day when he said I'm staying, and to where that's also kind of built, and now you don't go a show or a scroll on Twitter for more than 10 tweets before somebody national is talking about him, saying something. Nick Saban did his film study today on game day about him. Like he was on Sports Center the other day. Like, what has that been like as an athletic director to see the because I jokingly said whatever the NIL money was, it was worth every penny to the school as well, because you're seeing all this extra. And it's a way it works both ways, where you guys are seeing all this promotion. I mean, they on the Saturday slate where they're showing random games on game day, they put Boise State, Hawai'i on there just so they could mention Ashton Jeanty. They never would have done that before. Like, what is his rise and his season done indirectly to help? You're right, the university, the athletic department, and it all seems like it's a really nice match here.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about the 20,000 plus season tickets and 6 games, 6 sellouts, all that started in the offseason. We had a plan around his campaign, and Ashton's game is speaking for itself. Our plan has somewhat gone out the window because everyone else is telling the story that we were prepared to tell. Yeah. And it goes back to being prepared for the success when it happens. And that goes to our team. And Ashton is just a phenomenal person. Yes, he's an elite football player, but he's even better off the field, and how he treats his teammates and how they've embraced it. That's hard when you have a guy that's getting that much coverage. But then you have a guy like Ashton that shows up every day, gives 100%, is complimentary of his teammates. I've heard him talk about his offensive line and what the defense is doing, and all the coaches. And that's a testament to him, and it's a testament to the culture that Spencer's building. It takes a team. It's not one individual, and Ashton represents that at such a high level for us. And you look at what it's doing, not just for our athletic department, but our institution. Mm-hmm. We are the biggest game in the state, and now the world is recognizing again that blue is powerful, and the players that are on it and what they're doing off of it. And we're embracing that and trying to utilize that momentum to really push fundraising and our collective. We need the collective. That is a priority. People need to start embracing that, because that is the day and age we are in. And it's always what's next, and we're going to continue to move.
We got a watch party tonight with the collective down at House of Western Bar National. I know Winston Venables, the special captain down there. We're going to check in. We're going to check in with him actually in a little bit. But if folks are looking for a spot to go watch the game, go support the collective. I think 10% of all the sales tonight goes directly to the collective, and we're doing that with Joe Nickel with every road game this season. So I know it's a late night, but if you're looking for somewhere to do, go watch the game there. I'm not sure what you're willing to say about this, but the Pac-12, it's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks. We saw the reports that the media evaluation is underway before anything else happens. What from your perspective can you say, I guess, just about the status of looking for more teams and where things are at right now?
I said this very early on. We have a process, and we're sticking to that process, and there's strategy to it. And, when everyone was freaking out, we knew what was next, and ultimately getting the Zags and how that momentum has impacted what we're building. Hopefully people trust us, and there's obviously still more work to be done, but I'm concerned about winning this football game, and that's a priority for me, and everything else is going to take care of itself. And we have unbelievable partners in the Pac-12 and Navigate and everyone who's working behind the scenes. We are following a very specific plan, and we are sticking to that plan. And so far it has really worked out in our favor, and really grateful for all the leadership that has gone into that and how it's impacting us. We're already seeing the fruits of our labor in terms of that decision. In terms of basketball, I think we're over 9,000 season tickets. We're not just a football program. It is dominoing into every other sport program that we have. And that's the impact when you make a decision like that. And I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Speaking of Gonzaga, has Leon already put in his 2 years notice, I guess, so he doesn't have to coach? Is he going to be retired before
excited.
that?
Leon's excited. Him and Few are family. And so he's excited, and you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we want to play the best competition. And we're not just, like I said, a football program. We have basketball and soccer and golf and tennis and all these sports that are really stepping up. And to have the Zags come in across the board, quite honestly, but in men's and women's basketball specifically, that's so cool for our community. And I know we have a lot of alums in town, and
Yeah.
and it's really opened us up to a whole other pipeline of people that are buying into what we're building as the Front Porch Idaho.
And stay tuned next week. We'll be in Vegas for Basketball Media Days. They got the joint WCC Mountain West Media Days again, and we do have the joint interview with Leon Rice, Mark Few set up for Media Days. So stay tuned for that next week. Final thing or two for Jeramiah Dickey, Boise State Athletic Director. You had your Will Ferrell bat signal tweets coming out here. Not to have you make the announcements now, but it sounds like there's some good news coming, and it sounds like with, I don't know whether it's north end zone related or what we're talking about here, but it seems like that things are still rolling. And I know with that project, you're on pace, hopefully, right, to get the final approvals here in the near future and get shovel in the ground after the season ends.
That's right. I go to the Lewiston next week for the state board meeting. Looking forward to that. BJ, at any given point in time, not just myself, but our team, we have probably 10 announcements that we're just waiting. And there's a very specific strategy to when we announce, whether it's a gift, whether it's north end zone, and there's so many other things that we're working on. It's always what's next. Our team doesn't stop. Last week was a huge week for our BAA team. They are killing it. And part of that is the momentum from football, but then you're also seeing basketball, and the national coverage we're starting to get in basketball. And it matters. It's making a difference, and Bronco Nation is stepping up, and hopefully they're all listening. Thank you. We need it. It takes a team. I cannot do it alone. We are not magicians, but we will do the work. And we're going to roll up our sleeves, and people like Cody and Jake Thompson and Jake Menken and Brian Bills. And I can't say enough about them. They don't stop. And as I'm traveling around and doing conferences and dealing with realignment and state board in terms of north end zone, these guys are in the office and they're just grinding, and it takes a team, and I can't thank those guys enough.
So when you go to Lewiston next week, is that the final approval to make this thing happen, or what's the timetable?
I believe next week is the financing package.
Okay.
So we already got the construction in August. Yep. The next week is financing,
but I mean, if that goes through,
we're off and running.
Okay, and the plan is still sometime after the season, hopefully early 2025, to get the shovel in the ground, or
my hope is after the Potato Bowl.
Wow. Okay.
So we want to move quickly. A lot of that's going to depend on weather, and we still have some more work to do. I mean, we're selling at a very high level. We'll start releasing some of those numbers, and right now it's just getting in front of our donors and locking them in terms of their term sheet. But we are making progress, and I'm already thinking about what's next in terms of the next project, whether it's Extra Mile or Eastside Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, you've had 3 straight sellouts, and you got to feel pretty good about the 6 games, 6 sellouts.
I feel great about it. The Bronco Nation needs it. Don't do it for me. Do it for our team, for our community. Support these student athletes. It's amazing what they are doing on and off the field of play. They represent us at such a high level. I could not be prouder of them as their leader. And you're going to miss out. Ashton's a generational talent, and Bronco Nation is stepping up. I think we're over 95% in all 3 of those games.
Yep.
And those games matter. We have the opportunity to do something epic. 1-0 today, and that's always going to be our mentality. But we're building for epic, and we get to live that in action now.
I guess final thing, just your thoughts on this game tonight, and obviously been a fun trip. You could cap it off with a nice win and a safe trip back home. But I mean, every game now gets you one step closer to some of these big time goals. And I guess just as an athletic director, as the calendar keeps moving, the games keep getting more important. Just your thoughts on this one tonight.
Yeah, Hawai'i's a great program, and I know they're working on building a new stadium, and I think very highly of their athletic director, and they're doing good work. And every team that we play this year is their Super Bowl. I know they sold out tonight. I know it's not going to be easy, and we have to bring our best. And ultimately, we had a great week of practice, and in talking to our coaches and our student athletes, they're here to do work, and I'm grateful for that. And it's 1-0 mentality. I've seen a pretty good amount of Boise State fans, though, walking the streets and on the beach. And I had a random guy from Connecticut come say he watches the shows, and was a pleasure meeting me. And we've had a lot of people. I'd say you're going to have, obviously you're not going to have the advantage, but I think you're going to have a nice little contingent. And there was one road game folks wanted to pick to come to. This seemed like a good one. Oh, for sure. And Bronco Nation travels well. And so this was a great one. We had a lot of people that got here early, going to stay after. I love it. That makes this place special, and that's a testament to Bronco Nation and their support. We appreciate you, as always, Jeremiah, for coming up here and thank you, BJ. Coming on, and always appreciate the time. Go Broncos. Thank you, Bronco Nation. Best of luck tonight. There he is, Jeramiah Dickey, Boise State Athletic Director, joining us here on Bronco Nation News. This is the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show.